What you're going to want to do is you're going to want to take your birdhouse and have it face down. And I typically like to put the top of the roof towards my belly. You're going to want to pound in 4 nails into the back side of your birdhouse, and this is going to allow you to paint all the surfaces of your birdhouse and then set it on a table to dry. We want to be able to get all of the surfaces while we are painting. Next, you're going to want to give your nails the pull test. If you can pull them out, you should probably hammer them in further. Then set her down and make sure she's going to sit flat, and you should head into the lab. Once you've selected your color, then you need to pop the top. Just find a screwdriver and gently pry all the way around the lid. After you've got the lid off, you should gently set it next to the paint can. Then you should look for a stir stick and make sure when you're stirring, you're going all the way to the bottom of the can to get the thickest paint and pulling it up to the top. Make sure you get a very, very good mix. You don't want super thin paint going onto your birdhouse. So stir for a long time if necessary. After you're done, try to get all the excess paint off and set the stir stick down on the table, far away from the edges where it's going to get people messy. When you dip your brush in paint, do not dip it all the way to the bottom of the can. Just get the very tips of the bristles wet and try to let all the excess drip off. Do not get paint in the rim of the paint can if possible. I typically start out by painting the top. You want to do thin layers. If you go too thick, you'll end up getting runs just like when you spray paint. Make sure that all of your brush strokes go in the same direction as the grain of the wood is running. Constantly be rotating and checking to make sure that you do not have any runs coming in. The bristles on these brushes fall off pretty easily, so you should try to watch for those as well as I'm painting. Make sure that even screw holes get filled in. One of your grades will be on making sure that every single surface area is covered on your birdhouse. Hey, on the bottom side, you got to be sure and get all the little nooks and crannies, especially where the bottom does not quite go all the way to the ends of the sides. Get every single surface area inside of here. The door can be a little bit dicey. We want to make sure that the door gets fully painted. Not all the way on the inside, just the part that's going to show. But it is really, really critical to have the door closed when you paint over the edges of the door so that you don't get paint on the sides of the door. That'll make it really hard to open. So I typically will paint my entire side, and then after it's painted, I'm going to open the door. You got to sacrifice your hand a little bit, and you're going to get a little paint on it, but it's not the end of the world. You're going to be fine. Then I try to get the very end of it, but notice how the side of my door right now, if you're looking at it, it does not have paint on it. That's pretty important that you don't have paint there. Otherwise, the rest of your birdhouse is just going to get painted just like normal. Watch out for brush streaks and runs. Be sure you get every surface that's visible, including inside of the bird hole. Next thing you do is grab your birdhouse from the inside to carry it over to your drying space. Look for your class period and set it under the table for your class period. Try to get birdhouses as close to each other as you possibly can. With your paintbrush, clean up any extra paint in the rim of the can. Then you are going to want to gently tap this in. Please do not beat on it. If you tap too hard, a lot of times you can get paint splatter that'll get you close. After that, you should be heading towards the sink. Please hold your hand under your brush to make sure you don't drip on the floor. Once you get to the sink, you are going to want to turn the cold water on about halfway. If you turn it on too much, it'll splatter paint all over you. Then you put the brush all the way to the bottom of the sink and keep dabbing the brush until it is 100% clear water running through the brush. It is very likely that you are going to have to use your fingers on the brush to get some of the more stubborn paint off. So you'll see me doing that in a moment. Continue working with your brush, like I said, until there is perfectly clear water coming out of it. If there's even a hint of your paint color, you should continue to clean. After you're done cleaning, turn the water off. Any excess water that's in there, just kind of shake it into the bottom of the sink. Afterwards, you should get a little bit of paper towel and dry your brush the rest of the way off. After you're finished drying your paintbrush, it'd be really swell if you would walk over the garbage can and throw your trash away. Yes!